So guys, here we are, MMA UK News, Stoomboy as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So talking about SGI10, SGI10 is going to be Saturday, 7th of May, going to be at the usual place, Maryhill Community Halls in Glasgow. Now, it's going to be a special event this time. This is going to be the first event where there is going to be pay-per-view, which is absolutely awesome. I'd say I know the fighters are excited to be on pay-per-view. It's been an absolutely awesome 9 events we've had so far, so the 10th one is going to be very, very special. Now, ticket availability, tickets are available on the Scottish Grappling page. Head over there and it'll take you through to their booking system. And pay-per-view details have been announced as well. So make sure you do get your pay-per-view details if you can't make the event on the evening. So obviously my guest tonight is going to be on the show again, an SGI veteran, Erin Wilson, Lycans martial arts down in Kilmarnock, obviously MNBJJ under Marcus Nardini. Erin, as I say, he's been on before. We absolutely love seeing Erin. Erin's whenever Erin's on a mat, whether it's a competition or an SGI, submission only or so on, it's always going to be an exciting match. So we're absolutely buzzing to see Erin come back. And Erin's up against Courtney Gardiner. So I think we're going to speak to Courtney tomorrow. Obviously get a chat with her. So Courtney, again, another fantastic grappler. So this is going to be a very, very exciting match. So make sure you're watching this one. So Erin, listen, absolute pleasure to speak to you.
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm good. How you been?
Aye, well, I'm better. I'm a lot better. Feeling a lot better, yeah.
Because I know you had injury. Was it one of the previous SGIs, or you were injured before that, and then and you continued the match as well. That was the thing, right? Obviously, you knew you were injured, but you kept going. You kept going, no problem at all.
Well, I injured my back. Just nothing really happened, but I ended up with what they were kind of suggesting was like a compression, like fracture in my spine. However, that was never fully diagnosed, obviously. They couldn't see it in X-ray, but obviously they were sending me for an MRI scan. That happened on the Saturday before the last SGI, and I hadn't went to the doctor, obviously. I didn't know what was wrong, and I didn't want to pull out last minute so that she'd nobody. My intention was always to tap if I got hurt. I'd been told by many people that I was silly for doing it, but it was more a kind of, I'll just do it. So this time I'm feeling a lot better. Obviously, I taken quite a bit of time off and I come back in the new year and I've just been training since. So.
Yeah. And that's one thing. I mean, that shows the absolute warrior that you are. I mean, you knew you had an issue, yet you didn't want to pull out. You didn't want to upset people and pull out and stuff like that. Obviously, against the wishes of obviously everybody around you, but you still went out there and still put on a show as you normally do.
I think it's just because at that point I wasn't sure if she would even get another match.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want that. Nobody wants that. And at my own detriment, I wasn't being silly about it. I wasn't going in with the idea that I was going to like break my back. Like that kind of intention. But I was still going to take the match. So that's how it happened.
Listen, hats off to you. I mean, there's many people out there that would have pulled out. Many people pull out because I don't know. Listen, for a lot less than that. So obviously you walk in with that. I mean, definitely hats off to you. Fair play to you. So what about now then? What's training like? How's training down in Kelly?
So it's more or less just the same as it's always been. Every opportunity that you can get in, no gi. Obviously, I have been trying. Childcare, as you can see, isn't ideal because Shawn's still teaching at the moment. So that's why, obviously, Ira's here. But when obviously, taking turns about, when Shawn's teaching, I haven't got the opportunity to go in. So I have been getting in at 6 o'clock, 2 mornings a week with some other kind of questionable people. That it takes a certain type of person to get into the gym at that time, I think, before work. So I do feel that that's helped me a wee bit, and obviously I've been concentrating more on specific things rather than just doing what I usually do.
Yes, yes. And we saw the great picture. I mean, you, Shawn, and the kids. We saw the picture. You done a recreation of anybody that's obviously on Facebook. There was a picture. I think it was a mum, a dad, and two kids obviously doing a picture. And you guys did your version of it as well, which was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that it just kind of shows you, like, albeit like Shay, my son, obviously is a perfect wee poser. You know, he would stand. His face was static at every picture that I took. Unfortunately, as you can see, it's a different story. So obviously that's why we tried to get a picture with all in with geese at the only opportunity we had them on. So and it didn't go too well. Erin's not one for standing still for long enough for a picture.
I did. I saw that because you took a few pictures. You were trying to get a picture. She kept getting away, or kept trying to get out the picture.
She's not interested. She's got the mentality for jiu-jitsu, a wee bit of basher, shall we say, but she doesn't like the photo bit of it. She's determined to be up here, though.
She'll get used to that. She'll get used to the photos and stuff like that, definitely. So, and then what about SGI? So, as we mentioned, obviously you're a veteran. You've been on SGI before. Everybody loves seeing you coming out. I know that certainly females in Scotland have a very high regard of you. We spoke to like Lorna Kinnock, who kind of you were one of the people that she looked up to when she was coming up through the ranks. So, how did then SGI10? How did this one come about for you?
Well, I think the all-women's team was meant to be scheduled for this event, and Lorna had messaged and says, obviously with the clash between the ADCC trials, some of the English girls and that weren't able to make it. So I seen that James had posted up on Facebook looking for female matches, and I just messaged them saying obviously I would take one of the under 60s, and I got a message back saying it was for me. They were looking for somebody for me. So I was quite glad to be, obviously, to have that opportunity of them later trying to schedule a match for me. But I just thought I'll put my name in, see, because the thing is, he did put on the post that the girls wouldn't be fighting the same girls that they fought before, you know, and I think that with the pool being as small, obviously it's opportunity to meet somebody else, isn't it? It's like somebody new.
The good thing as well, this SGI, there's 12 females on this one, so six female matches, which we saw that at Grapple Fest recently, where there was again 12 females, 6 matches. The women's matches were better than the men's matches, so so this is going to be great as well. As I said, having quite a lot of females on the night.
I'm glad. I'm glad of that as well. Do you know? Because obviously you go back through into the back room when you're sitting. The only thing I've got to do is sit and eat cookies and chocolate and sit, you know, that kind of thing. Whereas even the guys are going around about socialising with each other. There's maybe only one other female there, and you know, like one other match. So you've got 2 other girls there who, and one obviously that you might be competing against. So I think even now, like kids classes and things like that, there's so many girls coming to the kids classes. It should be more recognised that women are out there just as many fights as men, you know. And I think that it's a good step forward.
Definitely. We're going to see as well Grapple Kings, who I do some stuff for as well, over in Ireland. They're going to be putting on Grapple Queens in September, which is just an all-women event, and it's going to be women from all over the place. So
really great.
I'll definitely put your name forward for that, because that'll be something that you'll love. So.
We'll wait and see how this goes. I mean, we're talking that potentially could be 3 losses at over 30. You know, so I'm optimistic, and I'm keen in my training. So I know obviously that I'm putting the work in. I'm fit. I feel fit, so that I've got no excuse. But in the same hand, as it's like might just not be my night that night. Which it speaks more obviously for that than anything else, you know. So I've got my fingers crossed.
Definitely. And then what about you this year then? Because I know you always love getting out competing and being in the mix and so on. So what things are you looking forward to doing this year?
Well, I think there's going to be a kind of submission only competition. Is it Scottish Grappling? near the end of the year. I'm quite keen for it because obviously for a long time I haven't done any kind of main Scottish grappling competitions. You know, it's always been kind of SGIs, like invitationals. So I feel I'm a wee bit more the mix with that side of it. So I would be keen, obviously, to try and work towards that this year, try and get into as many as I can. Obviously, children, like, giving me the permission to do that. But obviously, that's one thing, you know, like, you know, I haven't really thought that much about it. It's jiu-jitsu is like a hobby, do you know? It's a very time-consuming hobby, and I think that it's easy to get caught up in everyday life sometimes and forget to put that wee bit extra in. You know, you go in there, I go in there, and half the time I'm talking. Do you know, Shawn very, very kindly reminds me, do you know? And I think that if it is something that I want to pursue to a degree, then I can't go in there and talk.
Listen, Shawn does that with me as well. Whenever I see Shawn, he reminds me that, Stuart, you're meant to be doing jiu-jitsu, not just talking about it. So he always gives me a hard time every time he sees me.
Well, you can imagine it's you go to his classes and see if you're not actually drilling the technique and you're talking, he will not come over. He'll not come over to try and help you. He's just not interested in it. It's like, so I think a lot of people pick up on that, you know, and they do the actual drills, because if you're not getting something, you know, it's like you need them to kind of come over, so stop talking. So I've been trying to do that. I must say.
It's difficult. It's definitely difficult. I know that more than anybody. So, but I'd say whenever I see him, he's like, Stuart, have you been training? No. Why not? Do you know what I mean? So I get a hard time as well.
Well, welcome to my world.
And then final thing for you there, Erin. So obviously you've been in the game for a while. Obviously you've trained with a lot of really, really good people over the years. Obviously the guys at Lycans are unbelievable to watch. So, but anybody you want to shout out to? So obviously friends, family members, teammates, anything like that.
Yeah. Everybody at Lycans, like, doesn't matter who they are, you know, they come in, they give you rounds, you know, some days better than others. So definitely shout out to Shawn, obviously, for his help and his support, because without him, obviously, I wouldn't be able to keep doing this. And Joke definitely. The drill sergeant, very much appreciate Joke's input, certainly on a Saturday morning. And David as well, because David puts a lot of time into me. He puts a lot of time into all the people training under them. So I do feel that they deserve their own wee mention. But all the girls at Lycans, give me motivation to keep going, and certainly all the guys certainly remind me why I'm still there.
Definitely. It's a brilliant team, really, really good team down at Lycans. Anybody gets a chance, head down to Kilmarnock. As I said, if you're looking for some, it's always funny. I mean, me and you always talk about this. Anytime I turn up at the gym, I usually turn up with a gi, and I'm like, So what we training? Oh no, it's no gi. So
well, we had a gi Sunday this week, so we did.
Right.
You did miss it, but it was a spontaneous one. I think we basically Joe told us, as disgusted as he was at coming out his mouth, he did tell us to bring our gis, so we duly did, and I managed 2 rounds, so I'm happy with that.
Nice.
Everybody else ended up no gi.
Brilliant. So there we go, guys. We're going to have Erin Wilson. Erin Wilson's definitely one of the fan favourites to come out of SGI. I'd say she always puts on the show, win or lose. Erin, do you know what I mean? You'll never ever forget an Erin Wilson matchup. So it's always brilliant to see Erin. So we're looking forward to seeing her SGI10. So that's Saturday, 7th of May. Again, tickets, get your tickets through the Scottish Grappling page. If you can't make it, the pay-per-view is going to be available. As Erin said earlier, there's going to be commentators, fighters coming out to their own music and stuff like that as well. So it's going to be an absolute awesome night. So listen, Erin, always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Listen, enjoy the rest of your training. I'll see you next month. All right.
No bother. Speak to you soon. Right. Bye.
Bye-bye.